From the studios of the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, welcome to Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Hello, and welcome to Prime Minister Talks. I am Silveria Jacobs, and today we are, reconvening our Prime Minister Talks after a short hiatus with a very, very interesting topic and with some people within the community who we take for granted, I think. We have nurses in here with us today, and we're talking about sustainable breastfeeding environments. And so I welcome my guest, Nurse Cheryl Carty-Fleming, who is the supervisor at the OB-GYN ward, the daycare center, as well as the pediatric ward. Cheryl, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And she is joined by Nurse Toran Romaine, one of Cheryl's hardworking nurses working under her. So today we're talking about breastfeeding. And so welcome to Prime Minister Talks. This is a program where I endeavor to share information that is important to the community. And I know we're celebrating Breastfeeding Week, right? So I really wanted to give it some play. Welcome to the program again. I'm thankful that you're here. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Cheryl, in terms of what breastfeeding is concerned.
Well, as you know, breast is best. And we strive to promote and bring about awareness to our patients as well as families and the community about breastfeeding and the importance of it, especially in our situation now in the community where we have some hard socioeconomical times. We want to encourage and make sure our community know to breastfeed because buying milk and all these things is quite expensive. And when you have it readily available, you should make use of it. So part of my responsibilities is ensuring that our community is informed, as well as the staff of St. Martin Medical Center and the nurses and the patients about the breastfeeding.
Okay, I think that's we were chit-chatting before we started, and I mean, I had one child in 92 and the next one in 2002.
Oh, wow.
And that was a 10-year difference. And the first time I had to beg to be allowed to breastfeed my child.
Oh,
and
wow.
the difference that I experienced as a mother, a new mother in 2002, was that you did already have a breastfeeding program in which St. Martin Medical Center was promoting breastfeeding.
We say we are growing, and I use the term growing. You know, when someone asks you, how are you? People say good or fine. Well, the term we use nowadays is we are growing because there's always room for improvement. And when we compare 10 years ago, even a month ago, we see we have developed and we have gained so much more knowledge and expertise in breastfeeding. So we make sure that the staff is aware and are educated, as well as make sure our patients are comfortable while they are breastfeeding and know the ins and the outs of it. So indeed, there is a big difference from then to now.
Great. So you've come to the program with one of your nurses,
Yes.
Nurse Toran. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing on a daily basis and how it relates to breastfeeding.
Good morning, and thank you for having me here. On a daily basis, where it concerns breastfeeding, we try to encourage the mothers to breastfeed and to initiate breastfeeding at least 1 hour after birth. We do this daily, every day, but however, at this time of year, we celebrate World Breastfeeding Week, which is the first week of August, the 1st to the 7th, I believe. So now we put a little more on the promotion and a little more on the awareness to make the public aware of what is happening. For the past week, we've started off breastfeeding on Monday. We had a nice session at the medical center where we invited a few mothers, and we also had the staff engaged doing lectures and giving information, and we had a good informative session. So we continue for the rest of the week. Actually, at OB-GYN, we celebrate for the whole month, but we close off the week on Friday.
Okay, great. This program will be broadcast during this week, hopefully, so the people will hear about this while it is still Breastfeeding Week and at St. Martin Medical Center Breastfeeding Month. Right. So why, Nurse Toran, would you say is it important for mothers to breastfeed?
Well, breastfeeding is a natural thing, but it is not easy. It's not easy, I say, because you need the support and you need the help, not only of the nurses and the doctors or the pediatrician, but you need the support of the whole community at large. You need the fathers involved, you need the grandparents involved, you need the community, when I say the businesses, because the mother could be breastfeeding and she has to work. So we need everybody on board to support the breastfeeding mothers.
And in terms of the importance for the child, I know Cheryl started out saying breast is best.
Yeah.
Why would you say breast is best in terms of for the child's development?
Well, when you look at breastfeeding, it is natural. So it has all the nutrients that the child would need. And so if you look at breastfeeding over the years, breastfed children over the years, they become very little sick. They're not often sick. They have little issues with their gastro system.
You mean fewer
So they are
than
fewer,
the other?
correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So in general, when you are breastfed, your growth is much stronger. They say you are smarter.
Oh, wow.
So
that should be enough for everybody. to jump on board.
Exactly. And actually, basic things is for the mother. When you're breastfeeding your child and the child is hungry, you can easily put it on the breast instead of having to go and buy something or make a bottle of milk, prepare. So it is readily available, and everything that the child needs for the breast, for its health, is in the breast milk. So you can't want it any better. We usually say, as mothers or as parents, I want to give my child the best. Nothing is too good for my child. But let's start with the breast, because everything is there.
I kind of like that slogan. I really
Breast
love that
best.
slogan. Breast is best. And if you really want to give your child the best
best
starts with the breast.
breast.
Okay, that's beautiful. I think we will in the second segment go a little bit into some of the challenges that some mothers face and could be easily discouraged by this. But I really wanted to reiterate that these, especially in these economic times, it's not only what's best for the child, but it also then takes a bit of the burden off of the
Definitely.
spending on the parents as we go through the challenges, the economic crisis that we're facing. We're close to the end of our segment 1. So before I go into another topic, let's just take a short break here. And if you're interested in this discussion from the professionals at SMMC on breastfeeding, tune in. We'll be right back.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylveria Jacobs.
St. Martin is a frontline country that will continue to experience the effects of climate change. Effects such as an increase in the frequency and intensity of hurricanes, drought, earthquakes, and tsunamis. With this in mind, as Minister of General Affairs and Chair of the Emergency Operations Center, we as a government have embarked on developing a disaster risk management policy guided by a long-term vision for disaster risk management. This long-term vision will direct disaster risk management and decision-making factors, ensuring mitigation and reduction of risks, preparedness and emergency response and recovery. As such, you within the community of St. Martin must provide feedback on the draft vision for disaster risk management, as it will also guide the government's actions in safeguarding our communities.
For more information, please visit the website of government at stmartingov.org or our Facebook page. Feedback can be provided to the following email address, secretariateoc@stmartingov.org. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Office of Disaster Management and the Department of the Interior and Kingdom Relations, Government of St. Martin.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylveria Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks. We're having a wonderful discussion with our nursing professionals, Cheryl Carty-Fleming and Torrin Romaine from St. Martin Medical Center, specifically about sustainable breastfeeding environments. We started out talking about it's Breastfeeding Week, first of all, from the 1st to the 7th, worldwide, but St. Martin Medical Center will continue to celebrate throughout the month of August. And we talked a little bit about why it's important to the mother as well as the child. And so I wanted to know, for parents who are thinking about it, or maybe who are already on formula, is it possible to go back to the breast milk? And what are the resources available to mothers to learn more about breastfeeding?
Okay, yes, you can always go back.
Oh, wow.
There are some mothers who cannot breastfeed based for medical reasons, but there are also mothers who choose not to breastfeed. If you are on formula and you decide you want to go back to, or you want to try the breast milk, you can go back. We can teach you to express the milk through pumping the milk, and if your baby is still a few months old, you can put the baby to latch on, and it will take a while, of course, but once you do that consistently, the breast milk will start to flow. There are certain things you need to do, like you need to drink a lot of fluids and consistently put the baby on the breast, and then your breast milk will come.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. In terms of, and is that support available at this SMMC only pre-birth, or is there a program in place that mothers can have continuous support, or at least for a period of time until it's going well?
Well, actually, right now we have the antenatal clinic where our doctors and midwives and the nurses give lessons to patients who need it, give them information. However, we are in the process of creating a breastfeeding lounge, the first of its kind on St. Martin, and we are expecting to have it completed during this month. And the idea for the breastfeeding lounge is to give instructions, to give information, as well as our staff within the hospital who are breastfeeding, that they can come to the lounge and relax and express their milk, so that they don't have to be stressing to find somewhere to privately do that. And when the patients come to the polyclinic and they see our pediatricians or our gynecologists, sometimes they have so many issues with the breastfeeding. Coming to the lounge will give them that privacy, but it's a specific area just for that, so they can relax and get that instructions from our midwives as well as from our breastfeeding committee.
So since it's breastfeeding week and month at Medical Center, and we talked a bit in the first segment about the economic challenges, I know more and more people are promoting breastfeeding as a more sustainable way to feed your child, as well as to be able to secure it, especially seeing with the shipping challenges and the food shortages that they say will also affect a baby food and formula. How important, what else can we do as a community, as SMMC is doing now with the lounge, to promote breastfeeding more within the workplace?
Well, I think we can start having more of these talks, more of these conversations, the different radio stations, to sensitize our community to really breastfeed and get the fathers involved. I think when we compare our St. Martin community with a lot of the surrounding islands, our fathers do pretty well. They are very much involved with the breastfeeding, very much involved with their children, and so we need to capitalize on that. Have billboards with mothers breastfeeding, because we easily put up a woman well-figured with breasts and so forth, which is okay, but at the same time, we should promote that community feel. The community feel where father and mother, or where even a mother with while she's breastfeeding, and at the same time go within the schools, educate the children, let them know when later on you decide to have a child, breast is best. Okay. We can also go to the businesses and let them know, create an area where your employees can comfortably and privately sit and breastfeed, because too often what we hear within the hospital, a lot of mothers are reluctant to breastfeed or to continue breastfeeding because they need to get back to work. And going back to work, there's nowhere for them to breastfeed. So the businesses can help by doing that, and then creating that atmosphere, because then you have less sick employees, you have committed employees, and they are comfortable doing what they do. So then it will work for everybody.
Right. So I think I can agree with you in the sense of bringing the awareness to the community. I've seen it in other countries where it is promoted. So definitely I see it in a hospital, just in that area of the hospital, unfortunately. So I think it's definitely something we can work on.
Yes.
And I must say I'm committed to bringing this forward also within government offices, because I think it is very, very important.
Yes.
It creates then an atmosphere where the workers and the new mothers feel, as you mentioned, comfortable. So Minister of General Affairs, cap on. This is definitely something I'm happy that I had you here so that I can forward this to the administration to see how we can work out such a space as well
Yes.
within the government building. I think that would be a plus, not
Yes.
just for the employees, but
Yes.
also sometimes you have mothers coming in to register
Yeah.
or do
Right.
whatever they have to do, that there is that space if they need to
Yes.
go into. So I would like to take this opportunity to encourage the business community to do that as well. So we will lead by example and probably get some research information from
Yes.
SMMC in terms of what should be in this room.
Right.
But definitely, I think from an HR perspective, it's a good plus
Yeah.
to ensure
It is. It
and to
is.
promote, because
Yes.
we can't say we're
Yeah.
promoting that natural breast is best and the opportunity isn't there.
Isn't there?
Nice. And that is the name of our program for today. What are some of the challenges that new mothers face, Nurse Toran?
Okay, so some of the challenges, some of the complaints we get from the mothers is that my milk is not enough, my breast isn't producing, I'm afraid that my baby is not getting enough, so they want a bottle. So we have to explain to the mommies, okay, this is the process, this is how it goes. Even if you don't see the milk, then you have to let the baby suck, and then the milk would automatically flow. Another challenge you would see we have like, based on your anatomy, you have like different types of nipples. Some might be flat, some might be protruding, some might be inverted. So that's another challenge that the mothers face. And in that case, we would have to assist them either with a breast pump or manually to extract the milk. We call it express breast milk, and they can feed it back to the neonates.
Okay. I think it's important. I know I do promote it, but I know it's a very difficult thing to maintain. And you're already going through so many emotions as a newborn, mother of a newborn, and you going through that process yourself. To have to deal with it, it's sometimes a little bit difficult. But we'll continue in our next segment, talking about how mothers can actually deal with some of these challenges, and of course, giving the two nurses an opportunity to encourage the general population to take up breastfeeding. You're listening to and watching Prime Minister Talks. See you soon.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylveria Jacobs.
Hello. As previously mentioned, the Ministry of General Affairs is diligently working to prepare for electoral reform. But we cannot do that without your input. As such, as Prime Minister, we have issued a survey to get the input of the population on where we would like to go with electoral reform. Thereafter, we'll be having some town hall meetings where you again will have that opportunity to give feedback and answer questions, as well as ask questions on this topic to get clarity on where we are and where we want to go. So it will only take a few minutes, and it will be posted on our Facebook page. That's the government's Facebook page, as well as my Facebook page. And I do encourage you to let your voice be heard, go to the survey, fill it in, and be a part of the change we want to see in St. Martin.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylveria Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks. We're talking to Nurse Carty and Nurse Romaine about breastfeeding, the importance of breastfeeding, their experiences, and the growth that we're seeing at St. Martin Medical Center in terms of where we were 20, 30 years ago to now, and how much you're promoting breastfeeding. Nurse Cheryl, tell us a little bit more about what some of the challenges that Nurse Toran mentioned. How do we continue to encourage mothers, because there will be disappointments along the way? How do we continue to encourage them to stick with it?
Well, we believe in a community approach. So the partners and whether it's an aunt, an uncle, and mother, you get your family involved, because like you mentioned earlier, which is a fact, it is a challenge for a new mom. She has so many things to deal with, and then you add that on it. Now, sometimes for some mom, fortunately, it flows. And others, most of them have challenges in the beginning. So what we do, we get the fathers involved. And we let him support her, get her something to drink while she's breastfeeding. Let him burp the baby. let him take a walk while she's breastfeeding. So we get him involved with the bathing of the baby. That bonding is so important. It will help her relax more. Now, which is a reality, if the partner is not involved, then you bring in an aunt, a sister, a family member, or a close friend to give that support, because reality is we would like the ideal situation, but most of the time it's not what it is. So whoever is that support person, persons, we will say, need to be there to give her and encourage her. And most of all, the most important thing is encourage her to drink as much as possible and to place the baby on the breast as often as possible. Why too? Because too often when the mothers want to, they hear from family members, the child need a bottle, the child need this, give the child arrowroots, give the child porridge. And we really need to cut back on that, because what that does, it creates fat cells. And then later we have an obese community, and then we have a problem, a health challenge. So instead of allowing them or encouraging them to give formula where they don't have to, encourage the mother to drink more, encourage her to rest. That is also so important. So she must not be stressful about it, but relax in an atmosphere where she is calm and can calmly place the baby on the breast, find her position so that she can do it in a relaxed way, and then allow the baby to suckle on the breast. If you're in a group setting where it's noisy, most babies need to be in a calm setting. So then you just excuse yourself, go in a room, place the baby on the breast, and continue to breastfeed. So there are so many little things that supporters can do, and one of them is also giving her the attention that she needs. If she feels as a mom that all I'm doing is breastfeeding, she will become frustrated. So sometimes the person can take the baby from her and let her relax. She can express, yes, she can express the milk, put it in a bottle. While she's resting, a family member can give the baby the breast milk as well. So there are so many little things that you can help. And if it doesn't work the first time, it's okay. It's not a big thing. We're going to try again until we get it right.
Yes.
Instead of forcing her, you got to get it right. You don't know
The stress alone will stop the milk.
will stop them. Exactly. So the most important thing is to relax, to encourage her and give her fluids to drink, make sure she can rest, and help her place the baby on the breast and do other little things like burping the baby, changing the diapers, and so forth.
Bath time and so on. I can definitely concur with that. I'm a new grandmother.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
And I must say I'm super proud of my daughter sticking to that breastfeeding. And the baby has thrived. And it was difficult in the beginning.
Yep.
Luckily, she had a mother that believe in breastfeeding, but it's not always easy, as you say.
It's not.
So I would like to really encourage a family to support that process. Breast is best, and I've seen it where I've seen my niece, I think, breastfeed more than a year. Even so, child is healthy, the child doesn't get sick. So it's definitely something that we need to promote within our society. We go back to the basics. We talk about culture.
Yeah.
This is something that was part of our culture too.
And we are family oriented. So we need to go back to that and assist the mothers, encourage them where they need it.
Definitely. I would really like to, what I think was important in what you said, Nurse Carty, was that going into a calm environment. And I think today, a lot of us don't realize how much busyness is going on. We talk about children being busier now than they used to, but we're not realizing as parents that we put them in a busy atmosphere from birth.
Yep.
TV have to be on, this have to be on, a phone ringing, a tablet is on. And so going into that calm space, you're talking about creating that on the job, but how important is creating that atmosphere as home? Maybe Nurse Taryn?
Yep.
Yes, we believe in creating that calm atmosphere at home. So partner support, very important. Family support, very important. So you can take the baby. When the mother expresses her milk, daddy can feed the baby. You have other children around. You can put them on the room, say, okay, mommy is going to breastfeed now. She need a little time. Your time going to come just now, but just give mommy a little time, and give her that space, that stress-free environment where she can breastfeed comfortable. And in being comfortable, it also helps the milk to flow better.
Yeah.
So,
You know what
yeah.
too they can do, Nasturan? They also things like setting times. Usually when you make a baby, everybody's excited and
Yeah.
everybody wants to come and visit. Well, this is a perfect time to set times.
Yes.
And say between then and then. And as the mom, it is a challenge to do that because you don't want to offend anyone from coming to visit you. But then you have the dad to do it, or you have somebody who's close to you set the time between then and then mom is resting so that she gets enough time to rest, and then after that can enjoy the guest or, whoever's coming to visit her. But she needs the support for someone to say, we need
That
to
she
take it
needs some
easy.
time,
She
yeah.
needs some
Yeah.
time, yes.
And
Great.
also rest when the
Yes.
baby's
Yes.
resting
And
too.
rest when the baby's
Yeah.
resting. We're running out of time. I really wanted to give you some time to really promote the awareness. So I'm going to give you a few seconds to promote breastfeeding as we are celebrating Worldwide Breastfeeding Month, Breastfeeding Week in St. Martin, also the month.
Yes. I think as an island, a country, we should promote breastfeeding. We should strive to make our country strong and start with the breast because, again, we want to give the best. We talk about it. We every mother or parents you hear speaking about how important and how proud I am of my child. Well, let's start by giving the breast. And I must say, we do have mothers who cannot breastfeed for medical reasons or by choice. We do respect that, and we have formula that we can give the babies, and we can discuss that another time in showing them what is the best ways to do that. But for now, since we are focusing on the breastfeeding, if you can give breastfeeding, if you're allowed to do it, you should. It's the best thing that you can give your child.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. It was a very interesting conversation. I'm hoping that all the breastfeeding mothers are encouraged, that the family members realize the importance of their support, and that we continue to promote what is nature, what is best for our children, breastfeeding. Happy Breastfeeding Month to the St. Martin Medical Center and Breastfeeding Week worldwide as we continue to promote what is best for our children. Until next time, I'm Silveria Jacobs.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.